So yeah, do let me know if there's any problem with sound, as I always say. We're going to come up to standing, and we're going to start at the front edge of our mat. Okay. Just make sure everybody's in silence. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm hoping Sue is, I can't see her, but I'm going to assume that she's getting ready to move. So we're gonna do a little bit of a flow practice to begin with. So based on sun salutation. So I'd like you to come to standing at the front edge of your space. It's based on the sun salutation we do, but I'm going to incorporate some turning. The area that I want to work with this sequence is like the inner thighs. Okay, I don't know why I've got this theme with that, but it just seems to be an area that I really want to work in my own body, so I'm going with it. It feels like it creates a lot of space, not only in the inner legs, but also across the lower back and the sacroiliac area. So it feels like it broadens the pelvis, which is an area, at least in my own body, that tends to close down, particularly the back of the pelvis. So partly for selfish reasons, okay. So I wanted to build on what we did a couple of weeks ago. I'd like to come to standing, closing your eyes. And then I suggest you stand with the feet separate. Okay, so it's a bit easier on the pelvis. It might feel less precise. And then you gently extend your arms down by your side, growing your spine, a sense of feeling the floor through the feet. So we're building up some body awareness. So closing the eyes helps to take your attention inwards. But usually we're practicing with the eyes open, yeah, to help with balance and not to be so introverted with our attention. So have some attention going outwards. But to start with, we'll start with the eyes closed and noticing any small movements as you find your balance. And also, while we're here, I'd like you to tune in with your mood, Pranya Shri. I'm just going to let in. Have a sense of how you're feeling this afternoon. Okay. Breathing, connecting with the breath. Hi there. We're just getting going, so I'm just going to put you into silence. Or maybe you could put yourself into silence. She can't hear you. It's still connecting, apparently. There you go. Can you hear me now?
I can.
I just put you into silence. Okay, so we're in standing. Okay. So see if you can connect with the downward force of gravity and then growing your spine up from there. The sense of feeling rooted through the legs, through the feet. Connecting with the breath. So the first part of the sequence is going to be really moving with the breath. So if it's helpful, you could bring the hands onto the lower belly for a moment, just to feel that area moving. Breathing into the belly area. And then on your next exhale, release the arms down by your side again. Inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up. You can even take them back a little bit. Exhale, folding into your legs. Inhale, I'd like you to step your right foot back and come into a low lunge. And then from here, we're going to swing the right arm back and turn and open to the right. It's very simple. And then exhale again. Take the arm down and swing back into dog pose. We'll do this on both sides. Inhale, coming into all fours. Exhale, dropping through 8-point pose into Bhujangasana. Gently lengthening through the front of the body, elbows in. Exhale, release down. Inhale, all fours back into dog pose. So now we're going to step the right foot forward into the high lunge. You can ground your left foot, so turning the left foot out and swinging your left arm back now. On the inhale, reach up. So you're opening to your right, open to your left. Exhale, swing this arm back down and draw your left foot forwards. So you're back into Uttanasana, folding into your legs. Inhale, coming up. Sweep the arms up. We'll go through that again on the opposite side. Exhale, release into your legs. Folding into the legs. Inhale, now step your left foot back, low lunge. Grounding your right palm, turning to the left. Reaching up into the left arm. Exhale, swing this arm down. Swing back into dog pose. So hopefully the choreography is coming over. Inhaling into all fours. Exhale, hips back into child's pose, long arms. Inhale, all fours, dropping down into 8-point pose. And into Bhujangasana. Gaze forwards. Exhale, release out. All fours. Dog pose. So we're now going to step the right foot forwards. Switch sides. Left foot comes forwards. Turn your right foot out. So you can ground your right foot and you can turn to the right. So you're opening into what would be Pajvakonasana. Exhaling down and sweep your right foot forwards, releasing into the legs. Inhale, coming up, arms up, and we'll go into another cycle. Exhale, folding into your legs. Inhale, now the right foot goes back, low lunge, grounding your left arm, left hand. Inhale, swing round, opening to the right, breathing there. Exhale, taking the arm back down and dog pose. Grounding your palms, take a pause there, lengthening through both sides of your waist, dropping to all fours. Child's pose, exhaling. Inhale, coming through all fours, through 8-point pose, keeping the elbows in, into Bhujangasana. Lengthening through the front of the body, release down, all fours, dog pose. And now the right foot comes forwards. You can turn your left foot, so you're grounding your left foot down. I'm staying on the right fingertips and turning to the left, taking the left arm up, Pajvakonasana, and release down. Bring my left foot in, folding into the leg. Inhale, coming up, through palms together, arms up. Exhale, folding forward once again, coming into Uttanasana. Inhale, the left foot goes back. You're in the low lunge, grounding your right hand and turning to the left. I'm sweeping on my left arm back and up, opening, just very light. Exhale, palms down, coming into dog pose. Inhale into all fours. Exhale, child's pose, long arms. Inhale, all fours and dropping through 8-point pose. The elbows stay in. You can tuck your toes under, chin forwards, and lifting through to a low back bend, Bhujangasana. Breathing there. Lengthening through the front of the body. We'll just pause this for a moment. The gaze forwards, engaging the back muscles, elbows in, Tops of the feet on the floor, grounding, lengthening towards the tops of the feet. And release down. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, dog pose. So we're now step the left foot forwards, high lunge, grounding the right foot. Turning now to the right, Pajvakonasana. Exhale, swing this arm back down. Step in, fold into your legs. Uttanasana. When you're ready, inhale, coming up. Taking the arms all the way up. And we'll come into another round. Exhale, folding into your legs. Inhale. Take the right foot back. Right knee down to the floor, grounding your left hand. Inhale, opening into a low lunge. Opening to your right. Exhale, dropping the hand. Dog pose. Let's pause in dog pose for a moment, grounding the palms, lengthening through the arms towards the sitting bones, bringing the ears in line with the upper arms, a sense of lengthening through the neck, engaging both legs, sense of gripping the mat, that's but lengthening the toes. Okay, this mat is a little bit slidey today. I just washed it. The feet are wanting to shoot back. So try and have a sense of lengthening through the fingers, through the toes. Inhale, all fours. Exhale. Child's pose, long arms. Inhale, all fours, dropping through 8-point pose. And coming into Bhujangasana. Inhale, exhale, release down, back into all fours. Dog pose. And then we step the right foot forwards, grounding the left foot. So I'm turning the left heel down to do that. I'm staying on my right fingertips and turning to the left. Opening the chest to a certain extent. Exhale, releasing down and stepping forwards. Feet parallel, releasing into the legs. Inhale, Utkatasana, arms up. Do one more round. Exhale, folding into the legs. Inhale, now the left foot goes back, low lunge, grounding my right palm, turning to the left. Once again, opening out. Just briefly exhale, bringing the hand down. Going back into dog pose. Inhale, all fours. Exhale. Child's pose with the arms long. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, 8-point pose. Just very briefly, coming into Bhujangasana. Exhale, release out. Inhale, all fours. Dog pose. And then this time the left foot goes forwards. High lunge, the right heel drops. I'm turning now to the right side. So we'll come back to this pose in a little bit more detail in a moment. I just wanted to do something of a flow. Exhale, dropping the hand down and bring your feet parallel, releasing into the legs. Just pause here for a moment in Uttanasana. Again, exploring lengthening the toes, grounding through the bases of the toes, the heels. Releasing the upper body towards your legs, reconnecting with the breath. So with those more choreographed flows, it can be easy to get a bit discoordinated with the breath and the movements. But hopefully you could see what I'm trying to do there. So just putting in an opening, hip opening move with the lunges. Exhaling, palms together, inhaling, coming up. And into Tadasana once again. So keeping the eyes open. Just some of your attention going out and some of it going in, that kind of yoga look or yoga attention. So taking attention down through the body into the feet. So growing the spine, looking out towards the horizon. So we're going to bring the hands to the hips, swinging the elbows out. And I'd like you to turn to your right or to your left. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to just turn towards the camera and making the basic triangle shape. So we're going to go into more depth now to work this inner thigh area. So I'd like you to turn your right leg out. So the right heel is in line with the left heel or the left arc, somewhere in that area, okay, or the left ankle, okay. So we're not going too wide, so we can adjust the distance. So as we exhale, we are going to bend the front leg to make something of a right angle. And as we inhale, we straighten. So this is more like a warm up. Exhale, dropping down. So exploring, making the shin, the right shin, perpendicular to the floor. Remembering that basic rule of not overshooting the knee. And we're hinging the knee joint, tracking the knee over the ankle. Exhaling down, inhaling up. Okay, and then turning the feet once again to parallel, turning out to your left side. So again, the similar alignment. So left heel in line with the back arch. Okay.
Sudhakar, if
yes,
Saskia is still in the waiting room, could you let her
oh gosh,
a message? But she may be gone by now.
yeah, I think she's gone. Yeah, oh, that's a shame. Oh well, yeah, that's the danger of coming late. Yeah, I can't see anybody in the waiting room now. Not to worry. Okay, so we're turning to our left, right? And yeah, again, so coming down on the exhale and inhale, straightening. I'm really regretting washing this mat. It is so slidey. So ideally, mats are there as a kind of prop to fix the feet. So they don't slide. Okay, so 4 or 5 times exhaling down. Try to keep the upper body broad, taking the elbows wide. Okay, inhaling, coming up, turning the feet parallel once again, and turning to the right side. So again, exploring going a little bit wider with your stance, okay? So we're going to build up into this into stages. So right arm going up, and then exhale, coming down into Salamba Pajvakonasana. So your right forearm comes onto the right thigh. And you can explore going a little bit wider, taking the gaze down to begin with. This should be really easy. We're going to sustain for a little bit longer. So from the right forearm pushing up and turning, and then take the gaze up. That feels around the neck, and reach up into the left hand. Extending through your left arm, taking the gaze towards the left fingertips. Connecting with your breathing. So if it doesn't feel okay on the neck, take the head into a more neutral position, okay? So it might be wise to turn the gaze down. A sense of trying to move the shoulder blades down the back. Engaging, so the back leg engaged, right forearm active, left arm active, and then on an inhale, you're drawing yourself back up the center, and turn the feet to the opposite side. So you're turning out to your left. I'm turning my right toes a little bit in, sort of fairly classic adjustment. Left heel in line with the back ankle, more or less, taking the left arm up. And exhaling, dropping into the space, but keeping the legs active, pushing through the left forearm now and turning, lifting and turning, going as wide as it feels comfortable. So as you go wider, you may have a sense of having less stability. If you can, turning the gaze up, really attentive to what's happening in the neck, taking the right arm up, extending through to the right fingertips, the sense of the whole body being engaged actively, the sense of the bandhas, the hasta bandha in the arms, pada bandha in the legs, long spine or lengthening spine, turning, breathing now. Again, sustaining for a few breaths, active pose. With the next inhale and drawing yourself back up to center. Bring your hands to your hips, feet parallel, take a pause there. Okay, so let's take this a step on. So turning your right leg out again, left toes a little bit in, going maybe for a slightly wider stance. So we're going to take the hand to the floor now. So for some people, this is where the prop can come in useful, the cork brick. You can place that on the outside edge of your mat. Okay, so taking the right arm up, folding the right leg, right forearm comes down, and then we're going to reach for the brick or for the floor, whichever is appropriate, looking down, extending back through that back leg, turning the upper body, turning the gaze, and then taking the arm straight up. And then this time, see if you can extend the arm in the same line as the leg and the upper body. So I'm running out of space here. So you make one long line from the foot, left foot to the left hand, breathing this. So this will feel a lot more intense on your right inner groin. So if you can bring your right knee back towards your right arm, if it's on the outer edge of your mat. So you're bringing your right knee over the ankle. It might be helpful to check. Let's do a visual check there. Checking also on your neck. So if it's all right to turn and look up, that's fine. If not, looking down. Breathing there. So keeping the body active. With your next inhale, coming up carefully. And take a pause for a moment. Feet parallel. Shorten the distance between your feet. Just look for a point of stability. If you're using the brick, moving it across the other side. From here, turning the right toes a little bit in, left leg out. Inhale, taking your left arm up. And exhaling one sweep, coming all the way down to Parsvakonasana. You can use the brick. Quite like to place the heel of the hand on the brick. Just gives a little bit more height. It's a little bit less intense for the left groin in this case. The arm comes across, the gaze going up, breathing now, making one line from the right foot to the right hand, extending. I'm just going to see what's going on there. Breathing. Okay, so it's an active pose. Okay, so see if you can roll the pelvis to your right, opening in the direction, sorry, to your left, Depends which way you're going, isn't it? Right, so you're looking to turn the pelvis towards the ceiling. That would be more helpful. On your next inhale, carefully shorten the distance between the feet coming up. Exhale the hands to the hips and step back to the front edge of your space. Take a pause there. Growing your spine. You can even close the eyes if your balance feels okay. So I'm going to do one more in this line of Bodhiyoga-61-Hip-opening-Two. Again, a little bit more challenging. Taking a pause there, feeling the heat that you've generated in the body. Also observing the two sides of the body. So you'll notice one hip is more free than the other. Clocking that, being aware of that. And again, bringing the hands to the hips, turning. I'm going to turn to face the camera. It's up to you which way you go. And I'm going to turn out to the right, to your right. Okay, so right leg out, left toes in a little bit. Taking the right arm up. This time we're going to bring the right arm to the inside edge of the right foot to the floor. You can again separate the space. And we're going to explore the possibility of taking the arms around the back of the body. See if you can connect. So you're now solely relying on the legs and then pushing through the right foot, turning gently towards the ceiling. So it depends on your neck. Again, you can keep looking down, but you can turn the upper body towards the ceiling. Just puts a lot more work into the right hip in this case. If that's too strong, bring your right hand to the floor, use that as a prop, and then just turning the upper body from the support of the right hand on the floor. If you can, sustain without the hands. Nilamba Bodhiyoga-61. Okay, now bringing your right hand to the floor, carefully coming up. Bringing the hands to the hips, turning once again, feet parallel. Turning to the left side. I should feel quite a bit stronger. Okay, left hand coming up and dropping down. Left hand to the inside edge of your foot. So it can stay there. This feels like it's strong enough. Just stay with that. Otherwise, you can explore taking the arm around the back of the body and connecting. So you try to take hold of the right wrist, turning the upper body. Personally, I prefer to keep the gaze down. In terms of balance, a bit easier on the neck. With the upper body turning gently towards the ceiling. Breathing there, grounding. Your back foot is again very engaged pose. Very much working against gravity. Back foot grounded, releasing the left hand. Left hand comes to the floor. Maybe shorten the distance, carefully coming up. And step back to the front edge of your space. Take a pause there. Feet parallel, separate. Growing your spine. Closing the eyes. There's a version of Bodhiyoga-61 without the support of the arms. Growing the spine, gently releasing the shoulders. Reconnecting with the breath. And again, just tuning in with your experience through the heart. What does that feel like? Exhaling, opening the eyes, bringing the hands to the hips. Once again, turning to your right or to your left, coming into the basic triangle shape. So again, it's going to be probably helpful to have a brick for this next pose. We're going to have a go at half moon, okay, which should feel a bit easier after that, okay? There's a balancing pose. I'm just going to move to my, so I've got some space to move into. So we're going to turn to the right. So your right leg completely turning out 90 degrees, left foot turning in. The distance between the feet can be fairly short. Inhale, taking your right arm up and then keeping both legs straight now, coming out to the right side, triangle pose. Then bend your right leg, your front leg. Take your right hand forwards. You could bring it onto a brick and swing up carefully, straightening the right leg, extending through the left leg, extending towards the crown. So you're making your upper body long. Keep looking down. Projecting through the left foot, both legs straight. If you've got your balance, you can take your left arm up. So again, hip opening, so it's external rotation of the hips. Looking for point of balance there, which is never still. There's a constant adjusting and moving. Checking that you're lengthening through the spine. Standing leg firm. On an exhale, you're going to drop the left hand down, bending the right leg, swinging up and across to the other side. Okay. So we're turning the right toes in a little bit, left leg out, taking the left arm up, extending out to the left, keeping the leg straight this time. So it's like pivoting the pelvis to the laterally, left side, rotating the pelvis. Bend the front leg, left leg, swing forwards a little bit, bring your back foot in, and looking for a point of balance. You might find one side easier than the other. Projecting through the right leg, standing leg firm. If you've got your balance, taking the top arm up. Really keep looking down here unless you feel really confident in your strength and stability. It's going to be safer to look down. Projecting through the floating leg. So the intention here is to roll the top hip on top of the lower hip. So opening the pelvis there. Exhaling, bending the front leg, dropping the top arm, carefully coming up to the basic triangle position, so feet parallel. We'll just rest the arms down by the side now. Again, growing the spine, looking for a sense of evenness in your body. Having worked intensely both sides of the body, and carefully step back to the front edge of your space. You can discard the brick, if you've got one there. Coming into stillness. Reconnecting with the breath. With an inhale, I want you to sweep the arms up and maybe slightly back. Exhale, folding forwards into your legs. Inhale, taking your right foot back. So we're going to have another go at a lunge position, but we're going to go in the opposite direction. Okay, so taking your right arm up, your left hand can come onto your left thigh. So your right arm up, the right arm is going up, left leg forwards. And as we exhale, we reach forwards and see if we can hook the right elbow across the left thigh. Okay, so I quite like to take my left foot a bit wider, then bring the palms together to Namaste. And then I'm sinking into the pelvic area as much as the pelvis allows. Just going to lengthen the hip flexors. There's a sense of keeping the chest broad. Back toes can be tucked under if you prefer. Top of the foot on the floor. Breathing now. And releasing down, palms to the floor, into all fours. Dog pose. Walking both feet forwards, feet parallel, exhaling into your legs. Inhale, sweeping up, Utkatasana, arms coming up, and slightly back. Exhale, folding into your legs. So this time the left foot going back. So do protect your knee on the back knee, yeah? So if you need some extra padding there. Taking your left arm up, right hand onto the right thigh. I'm reaching up, so I'm lengthening from the left front hip to the left hand. As I said, personally, I quite like to take my right foot a bit wider here as I turn to the right, hooking the elbow across, left elbow across the right thigh, palms together, gently lifting through the pose, using the pressure between the hands to create a little bit of space in the upper body. Again, working the hip flexor here on the left side. Connecting with the breath. Grounding the right foot, so long toes, bases of the toes grounding. And from there, releasing down, palms to the floor, into all fours. And I'm going to drop into child's pose just for a moment. Taking a breath here, relaxing the body. From there, inhaling, coming up to sitting on the feet. So this is where it's going to be really useful to have a wall. We did this the last time I taught 2 weeks ago. So I'd like you to have, if you can, 2 foam bricks right into the wall. And if you've got another brick, ideally like a slightly thicker brick, a cork brick, we're going to bring ourselves right up against the wall here. So the intention is to bring the sacrum kissing the wall, pressing right into the wall. It's like a supported Baddha Konasana. I'm deliberately separating my feet a little bit as well to create a little bit more opening across the groins and, as I said, across the back of the pelvis. So if you haven't got a wall and a brick and all the rest of it, you could just come into Baddha Konasana. That's also fine. Okay, and then the intention here is to stay fairly still. Okay, once we've set it up, you're resting your forearms onto your knees or inner legs. Relax the hands. And we take the whole of the spine back to the wall, although obviously respecting the natural curves of the spine. So I'm taking my sacrum to the wall and I'm taking the upper back to the wall, but the lumbar and the neck spine are not touching the wall. So there is a sense of resting into the wall, but there's a sense of growing the spine, but it's relatively passive pose. It's not really a yin pose, but it's got a kind of yin-like quality. See if you can really relax or let go of the shoulders. Let gravity work through the inner legs. So I'm not necessarily, you could explore, I mean, it'd be a slightly different way of practicing, of gently applying pressure to the inner legs. But when I say gentle, I mean really gentle, yes, because what we're trying to do here is encourage the body to release. And what often happens is when we ask this area to open, is it just tightens, sort of protective mechanism. So it might be quite counterproductive to put any kind of active pressure on the inner legs. It could work more through gravity and a sense of letting go, relaxing the arms, relaxing the hands, reconnecting with your breath. Just being aware of the flow of sensations from the body, as well as just for a moment taking in the space around you, even though your eyes are closed. One thing you could become more aware with time is the outer edges of the sole of the foot. Towards the outer border of the foot is pressing more in. And it might even be there's quite a light pressure on the big toe side. There's more weight on the outer edge of the foot, less on the inner edge. So we're deliberately staying here a little bit longer to allow the pose to soak down into the body and also to rest after that dynamic standing sequence. We can open the eyes again, bring the hands to the outer knee to very gently bring the legs back towards each other, coming away from the wall. And I like to come into all fours. This little sequence is really familiar, so I wanted to bring a little bit of yin posture work in. So coming up into dog pose. From here, we're going to swing the right knee forward, so the right shin coming across your mat, coming into what's called sleeping swan. So we're going to, depending on your flexibility, bring your shin more forwards or more back. So more forwards if you've got more flexibility. And then you drop down over your right leg. So you should feel the pressure, some work on the inner groin on your right side, as well as the right buttock. Spreading the elbows. So as we know, you can use a prop here of the bolster underneath the chest area for a slightly less intense work for the hip area. Again, connecting with the breath. See if you can let go with each exhale. Spreading the elbows. We're now going to bring the hands back, more or less underneath the shoulder, maybe slightly forwards of the shoulder. I'm going to suggest you come onto your fingertips. We're going to lift the pelvis and the chest, coming up into, you could call the high swan or the full swan, and take the gaze up. I'm lifting the pelvis a little bit off the floor. This puts more compressive forces into the spine, particularly the lower spine. So being aware of that. If it's too strong, you bring your hands forwards. Even yourself onto the palms of the hands. Otherwise, bringing the hands back. And then from there, we're going to drop the right buttock to the floor and turn to the left, bringing up the left leg. See if you can hook the left elbow, the left foot into the left elbow. So this is more stretch for the front of the thigh, has to be said. But we're turning to the left. Growing the spine, crown lifting. So I'm using my right hand as a prop, right arm as a prop. Okay, from there, releasing the left foot down, swinging back up into all fours into dog pose. And bringing the left shin down. Okay, so coming into sleeping swan first of all, using the bolster if you wish, or not. Taking the elbows wide, releasing into the floor. So you will feel this on the left buttock, but also in the groin, left groin area. Try to completely let go. So I'll make this as fully yin as possible, sense of minimal muscular effort. Disengaging the muscle body for a few moments. Connecting with your breath. Each out breath, sense of softening. And aware of the flow of sensations. Gently anchoring your attention there. So remembering the meditation practice or mindfulness practice is largely a practice of coming back again and again to our experience. So mindfulness practice could be described as like coming back to your experience. Inevitably, we wander off elsewhere, as we gently bring our attention back. So from here, the hands moving back, more or less in line with the shoulders. I suggest you come on the fingertips, you can get a bit more height. Lift the pelvis and the chest, coming into like the full swan, and possibly the gaze going up. Hold this for much less time. It can be a bit intense on the lower back, so if it feels too much like compression in the lower spine, as I said, bring your weight forwards and down to less compressive extension work there. Okay, so listening to your body. A little bit of compression is good, stimulating. Okay, and then from there, we're going to drop down to the left buttock. So the left hand comes slightly forwards. I'm turning now to the right. I'm going to pick up my right leg and see if I can hook into the right inner arm area. I'm taking the gaze to the right. I'm using the left arm as a prop. sometimes called the goddess pose, or the, what do we call them, the mermaid pose. Breathing, a sense of lifting gently the crown. Feeling the work in the left or in the right thigh. Mainly probably the front of the thigh you're feeling there. And then from there, releasing down, coming back into all fours. Carefully coming up into dog pose. Lifting from the palms back, thinking the heels. Head in line with the upper arms. So we're going to move into a second active part of the sequence. So allow you to either hop or walk forward. So you come down to sitting and then onto your back. Okay. Oh, what has happened? Oh my God.
We can still see and hear you.
Gosh, I think what's happened is maybe Sadat is trying to come in. I'm not sure why he's doing that.
You, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you see me? Can you?
Yeah. So far.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me just, well, hopefully he's, let me just, am I still there? This is so strange.
Nothing has changed for us.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, there we go. Gosh, okay. Gosh, that is so disconcerting. Right, so we're gonna come onto our back, and this is, again, I've done this with you before, so this is a 6-part. So what we're going to be doing now is more of a kind of strengthening and integrating work for the hip area in the lower back. So we're coming into semi-supine, and so we'll do this together because it should be fairly familiar. So as you exhale, you pick up the head and look through the legs, pick up the arms. You engage the front of the body. As you inhale, you release down to the floor. Exhale, push through the feet, coming into bridge. Inhale, the arms come up above. Exhale, dropping the pelvis down, keeping the waist area long. Inhale, the arms come back to your side. Okay, and then we'll repeat that. Exhale, picking up. Inhale, releasing down. Exhale into the bridge, pushing through the feet. Inhale, arms. Exhale, releasing the pelvis down, keeping the waist long as you come down. So very conscious, releasing down. Inhale, the arms back. You may need to bring your feet closer to your buttocks from time to time. Exhale, pick up. Inhale, release down. Exhale, picking up, coming up onto the bridge. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale the arms. So I'll just let you go with that 3 or 4 more cycles on your own breath. So the arms move independently of the pelvis. If you can synchronize exactly the movement with the breath. I quite like to take the feet quite wide, slightly wider than the pelvis, to give a sense of stability. I'm moving up into bridge on the exhale. Just doing one more round, 6-part bridge. I call this exhale, you're picking up, looking through the leg. Inhale, releasing down. Exhale, picking up the pelvis. Inhale, arms above the head. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale. Arms come back. Okay, so from here, then interlace your fingers, placing the hands around the back of the head, bringing your legs towards you. And we're going to take, so the idea is to try and keep both shoulders down, both elbows down. Take the legs to the left, all the way to the floor. And there's a sense of really trying to keep your upper body, as it were, pinned to the floor, so that both shoulder blades, both elbows. And then as we breathe, as we inhale, extending the right leg parallel to the floor, exhale, folds. Inhale, extending that leg. So this is going to work more the outer thigh. Okay, so we've done a lot of work on the inner thigh. I want to do a little bit of compensatory work. So extending on the inhale, exhale, folding. The idea is to keep the thighs more or less parallel to each other, not touching necessarily. And we're floating the right leg out. So it's pretty strong for the outer right hip, the hip rotators. Okay, next time we inhale, extending the right leg out, and then see if you can turn the right toes towards the ceiling. Just like you're externally rotating your right leg. In reality, very little movement, but the feeling is pretty intense in your right buttock. Okay, if you're turning the right toes towards the ceiling, and then we relax. Come back to center, and come back to semi-supine. I'm going to change direction because I've got a wall in the way. So the hands are interlaced behind the head. We want to keep both elbows down, both shoulder blades down. Bring the knees towards your chest. And then both legs go to the right now. Bringing the legs fairly close to the body. Elbows down, shoulder blades down. The gaze can just go straight up. And then as you inhale, extend the left leg. Projecting, exhale, fold. The right leg doesn't need to do very much. The left leg active on the inhale, extending, exhale, folding. Really feeling what's going on in the thigh there. Not necessarily that comfortable. Might feel quite satisfying, but it's not necessarily very comfortable. This is more like a toning, strengthening work. Just builds up some strength and stability around the hip rotator and the sacrum. Okay, next time we inhale and extend, I'd like to see if you can turn the left toes towards the ceiling. So it really feels like you're squeezing the outer hip, buttock area as you're rotating, externally rotating the leg, as well as keeping it engaged, more or less parallel to the floor. Turning the toes towards the ceiling. As I said, externally, you're probably not going to see very much. It's such an intense move. Just position again and releasing. Back into center. Take a pause into semi-supine. Just rest your arms down by your side or onto your body for a moment. Closing the eyes. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to turn once again, create a little bit more space. So I think we did this when I went to England. So I'm going to turn, if you could take your legs wide, that's fine, but I'm going to turn this way. So I want you to bring yourself, again, knees towards your chest. I'm going to bring the hands to the inner knees. So it starts off very gently. So as you inhale, you take your knees wide, and as you exhale, you resist. As you pull the hands back together or pull the knees back together, inhale, go wide. Exhale, resist. You probably get a little bit of shaking there. Inhale, go wide. Do this 5 times. Inhale wide. Okay, now taking the legs to the vertical. It's going to be a lot more intense. So again, the hands to the inner knee. You might not need to resist very much with the arms. So inhale, take the arms wide. And exhale, pull the legs back together. 5 times. Inhale. Taking the legs wide. Exhale, pull the legs together. Inhale wide. Exhale, pull the legs together. Inhale wide. Last time, pulling back together, and then take a rest. Allowing the knees to rest into your chest, thighs to rest towards your chest. You can rest your interlaced hands on the shins. Relaxing around, softening around the hip area. Once again, taking the legs to the vertical. Hands to inner legs. Inhale, going wide. Exhale, resisting. Inhale, wide. Exhale, resisting. Inhale, wide. And back. 2 more times. And once again, releasing the hands, fingers interlaced, releasing through the legs into your chest. From there, rolling to one side. And again, this would be helpful to have some sort of cushion or bolster in front of you. So we did this last time as well. This has got to be one of my favorite poses. So I just had to have it there. Okay, so I want you to take your knees wide. Okay. Oh. Looks like Darshan's gone, isn't it? Okay, that's it. So knees go wide, and I'm seeing between the feet. So the idea is to come up into all fours, but the knees are wide. Okay, so sometimes called frog. Allow your knees to slide away from each other. And then bringing your chest down onto your support. Okay, so again, it's a passive, whereas the feet can pop up, that's fine. You need to find a position for your chin that's going to be comfortable. And you're allowing your weight to sink through the inner groins. You can allow your feet even to separate here. Connecting with your breathing. Again, just seeing how much you can let go. So the body naturally wants to, in some ways, the body naturally wants to resist being stretched. Okay, it's a sort of defensive pattern there. So you see if you can just gently ease yourself through that without forcing. Okay, and then from there, I'm sure we could stay longer. I'm going to bring the palms down, gently pushing up. So you come back into all fours, you bring your knees in towards each other. Now for this last sort of, penultimate pose, it would be really helpful to have some support, okay? So the minimum would be some cushions to put under the thighs. I'll show the full setup. So I'm going to put the bolster close to the wall. I've got about a palm between the wall and the bolster. And then I'm going to use these foam bricks to prop up the outer thigh. So I want to go for a wide leg, Viparita Karani. Okay, so I'm going to come up, legs up the wall, basically. So it's really important in this, because we're going to stay here for a few moments, to support prop up the outer thighs. If you can't do that, it's very difficult to relax, to sort of disengage the muscles, as it were, on the inner thighs. So if you can, find something to prop up your outer thighs. Okay, I'd say it's pretty essential. So it could be cushions. These foam bricks are ideal. I'm also supporting the, as it were, the pelvic crest, the last vertebra, L5 pelvic crest on a bolster. The buttocks are coming right in towards the wall. And once you've set it up, you can really just let yourself rest into the position. Okay, so ideally the arms, you find a restful place for the arms. They could also be on your body. I quite like to rest the arms above the head, but it's really essential that you've got a sense of support under the outer thighs. Okay, otherwise you're not going to want to stay very long there. So the legs become as passive as they can. And you'll be surprised that gradually the body opens, the tissues release. Connecting here just with your experience in a sense of global awareness, whole body awareness. Hopefully quite a pleasant sense of being supported, open, or being in a process of opening. This sequence has been a little bit of a yang, yin, yang, yin, so it's quite active to begin with. Sun salutation through the standing, and a short yin sequence. And some active floor sequence, and now, once again, more yin style poses. This pose has the benefit of being upside down. If it's restful, it's a pose that you could sustain for 15-20 minutes. And, I'll never forget a friend of mine describing her practice sometimes as a 45-minute Viparita Karani in this position. So it's really emphasizing resting and letting go. And this can be surprisingly powerful in terms of releasing and opening the body. Almost like therapeutic. Checking that you're releasing the neck, face. So I would urge you, if you've got time this week, just try this setup, play with this setup and try a longer session. Okay, see where it takes you. But we're going to gently from here bring the legs up towards each other and then towards your body. So your feet come onto the wall. You can remove the support that was at the sides and then carefully roll to one side, aware that you're on a bolster. Okay, and then we're going to move the bolster now or some cushions underneath the knees. Have one brick for the back of the head if you need more clothing. Do layer up, okay? I'm going to come into a more neutral shape. Shavasana. I'd just like you to spend a few minutes absorbing that practice, okay? So it's, as I said, a bit of a mixture of yang, yin. Feeling how it's stirred your energy. And for a few moments, just containing that energy through stillness. Once you set up Shavasana, remembering you can make 3 adjustments on the spine, lengthening the waist, broadening the upper back, lengthening the neck. Connecting with your breathing, also connecting with the space around you. Sense of being in the pose, in space, the space that you're in. So even though the eyes are closed, your attention is inward. There's also this external awareness. Okay, so when you're ready, feel free to move the fingers, the toes. Was that okay to follow? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. See you in a week or two.
Yeah. Thanks, Sudhakar. That was great.
Bye bye.